Rail transport in South Africa is the most important element of the country's transport infrastructure. All major cities are connected by rail, and South Africa's railway system is the most highly developed in Africa. The South African rail industry is publicly owned. History. The first track for steam-powered locomotives was a line of about 3.2 kilometers by the Natal Railway Company, linking the town of Durban with Harbour Point, opened on June 26, 1860. Cape Town had already started building a 72-kilometer line, track gauge 1,435 mm, linking Cape Town to Wellington in 1859 but was hampered by delays and could only open the first section of the line to the East River on February 13, 1862. However, Cape Railway construction began a massive expansion, after the formation in 1872 of the Cape Government Railways. Railway lines in other provinces started later, but a national link-up was established in 1898, creating a national transport network. This national network was largely completed by 1910. The railway lines were also being extended outside of South Africa, as far north as northern Rhodesia. The vision of Cecil John Rhodes, to have a rail system that would run from the Cape to Cairo, would never materialize. Upon the merger of 4 provinces to establish the modern state of South Africa in 1910, the railway lines across the country were also merged. South African Railways and Harbours was the government agency responsible for, amongst other things, the country's rail system. Electrification of the railways began in the 1920s with the building of the Colenso power station for the Glencoe to Pietermaritzburg route and the introduction of the South African Class 1E. During the 1980s, the transport industry was reorganized. Instead of being a direct government agency, it was modeled along business lines into a government-owned corporation called Transnet. Transnet Freight Rail is the division of Transnet that runs the rail system. Though there are no plans to end government ownership of the national rail network, some small portions of the rail system have recently been privatized. Network. Transnet became famous for its luxury rail lines, most notably the Blue Train, which runs from Cape Town to Johannesburg. The Blue Line has frequently been named the best luxury train line in the world, and the 1,600 kilometers run is a popular tourist attraction for South Africa. With the increasing coverage provided by the nation's highway system, long-distance passenger travel has declined in South Africa. While many commuters still use rail for their daily commute, nationally, only half of the nation's 20,000 kilometers of track is being fully utilized, and some 35% of the nation's track carries no activity or very low activity. Accordingly, Transnet is moving towards an emphasis on freight, rather than passengers, to keep the rail system profitable. For a look at the South African transport network, including the railways, view this map from the United Nations. A high-speed rail link has been proposed, between Johannesburg and Durban. Maps Union Map, UNHCR Map. Specifications: nearly all railways in South Africa use a 1,070 mm narrow-gauge track. This was selected in the 19th century to reduce the cost of building track across and through the mountains found in several parts of the country. The Gautrain Rapid Transit Railway uses 1,435 mm. Ultimately, the hope is that the conversion to standard gauge will also enhance rail's potential as a freight carrier. During the late 19th century and the early 20th century, numerous 2-foot narrow-gauge railways were constructed. South African trains connect through the AAR cupola, developed in the United States at the end of the 19th century. Remarkably, though South Africa has long been ahead of Europe in coupling systems, it has lagged behind most of the world in its braking system. Most trains in South Africa continue to use vacuum braking. However, the conversion to air brakes has finally commenced. Between 50% to 80% of the rail lines in South Africa are electrified. Different voltages are used for different types of trains. Most electrified trains run 3000 VDC. This is used primarily for commuter lines, and has been in use since the 1920s. During the 1980s, higher voltages have been used for heavy-duty lines, primarily in the transport of iron ore. Rolling stock. South Africa uses a variety of rolling stock from a number of manufacturers. In 1957 Union Carriage and Wagon was founded in Nigel for local production of rolling stock. Accidents and incidents: February 2, 2002, 24 people die in the 2002 Charlottesdale train collision. October 26, 2005, 2005 Dealfontein train collision, head-on collision between the Blue Train and the Trans-Karoo. November 13, 2006, Far Level Crossing accident, 19 people were killed at a level crossing near Somerset West when a Metrorail train collided with a truck carrying farm workers. April 21, 2010, 3 crew died in the Pretoria runaway of a Revos rail train. August 25, 2010, Blackheath level crossing accident, 10 children died as a result of a level crossing crash between a Metrorail commuter train and a minibus taxi. July 13, 2012. Hector-Spruit level crossing accident, at least 25 people were killed at a level crossing near Hector-Spruit, Mpumalanga, when a coal train collided with a truck carrying farm workers. Saturday 18 July, 2015. 2 commuter trains collided and overturned in Johannesburg. 200 people were injured. Rail systems in nearby countries. The following countries mostly use 1067 mm gauge and are mostly connected together. Countries beyond those listed are of other gauges. Further reading: The South African Railways, a Euro history, scope and organisation. South African Railways Public Relations Department. June 1947. Bullock, Richard. AICD Background Paper 17, a Euro off-track. Sub-Saharan African Railways. Washington, D.C., the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development / the World Bank. See also. References. External links: Ripley, Luke A. Greiser's Guide to the Railways of South Africa, Rail Accidents in South Africa, South African Trains, a Euro, a pictorial encyclopedia, African Railway Systems and Consultants, a collection of SAR&H Publicity and Travel Department photographs.